organized this meeting slightly different than most. We wanted it to be a community roundtable because we wanted it to be a conversation. So it's not us telling you all the things that are wrong with our community or all the things that you all want to see with the community. It's how we work together to get those things, and especially those services. But we did want to give you at least a little bit of an update of what it was that we did in this last cycle and what we want to do in the upcoming legislative cycle. So I'll start with myself. I am a freshman legislator, thanks to many of you who voted for me and helped me get elected. And really the whole point of me running for office was because I'm a mom, right? And I have 6 children, all of which have had different experiences, ideas, problems, you name it, we've probably seen it. And I wanted to be the advocate for my kids because I felt like they are our future and they are suffering. And so I partnered with folks like school member, I was gonna say representative, school board members, Torres, and just trying to understand and have those open communications of how is it that we can help each other to help our children, right? Because I was one of those parents that got completely frustrated. I understand the system fairly well and was so upset when I have one of my children come home with a textbook that was in 3 pieces. How are we supposed to learn? Or he couldn't get his computer assigned to him appropriately, or, right? And so I wanted to make sure that I was advocating for my children, for my family, for my community, and charged on, right? And went to Tallahassee, and those were the things that I decided that I wanted to take as much time as possible and focus. So I focused on my first 6 bills. You get 6 as the House of Representatives. So my 6 bills were very simply in the same fashion. I wanted to protect our children and protect parents, so I filed a abuse of a parent bill that actually became part of another bill. I became prime co-sponsor of a bill with Representative Brown, and it was actually Senator Torres, who happens to be my dad. He had that bill when he was a representative and brought it on to the Senate, and we were trying to help. Honestly, what came out of it was we were helping a family within our community who got stuck in the cracks, so to speak, and her son ended up actually ultimately killing her, and her family found her body because there was no mechanism for the family and friends to really help her. They can call the police, they can, file the reports, but then what happens after? And there was years of that, and there was no real mechanism of report and or follow-up. So I was happy to file that bill and prime co-sponsor with Representative Brown, and it did become law. So at least certain folks have an opportunity to not criminalize their children, but figure out a way of helping their children and working with the Department of Children and Family, working with the Department of Juvenile Justice here, and navigating that information. So that was very important to me. One of the other bills that was very important to me, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but this was and is important to me, and I'm going to refile this bill. This wasn't heard, and it's really simply allowing our undocumented residents and folks within our area and our neighborhood to find IDs, to be able to drive, right? To understand that we want to take folks out of the shadows. We want folks to have information and have a valid driver's license so that if anything happens, we can identify what's going on, so that they can have valid driver's insurance. They're going to drive regardless. We want to ensure and know who they are and what's happening so that they can be productive members of society regardless of status.